We can have everyone to start taking their seats. Please silence your phone. I'll let you do that. Somebody else can do that. Good morning. We're going to call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, October 14th, and it is 2025, 9 a.m. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting. We're going to have the invocation led by Pastor Roger Phillips of Beulah Baptist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Palatka. Please stand if you're able to do so.
Let us pray. Our Father, you are the eternal one, the God of all ages. Father, you have made us and created us. Lord, you are present here with us, and we thank you for that. Father, you prepare our future and will meet us there. Lord, we thank you for many blessings, the blessings of life, of being able to assemble here in this free land. Lord, we thank you for privileges that we are able to have here in this country that many around the world do not have. Father, we're thankful for the peace that has been achieved in the world in recent days. And so we give you thanks, Lord, for that work that you have wrought. But Father, you've used many people, and we thank you for our leaders and representatives and those that have committed themselves to that. Thank you for this body, Lord, for this group of men and women. Lord, I pray guidance and direction upon them, that you give them wisdom beyond any ability that they might have themselves, so that you might receive the glory. Father, help us today as we live for you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
For which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, in front of you, we have the approval of minutes from the September 9th meeting.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes of September 9th, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we will recess the regular meeting and go into convene the Port Authority meeting. We have the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes for September 9th, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion, approval, and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, going into item B, grant agreement and resolution. Is there a presentation on this, or?
Mr. Sullivan, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, Mr. Sullivan's at a Florida Ports Council this morning. This is a grant that was applied for, and we've been awarded, and just like to get some movement on this morning by the board to go ahead and approve it.
All right, so it's just bringing it in?
I'm sorry?
It's just bringing the money in?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there any questions? All right.
No, and I move for approval.
I'll second that.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Second, we have a grant agreement and resolution for port infrastructure.
Yes, ma'am, that's the requirement for you guys to approve it and then for your signature.
All right.
I make a motion, we approve the grant agreement and resolution, port infrastructure, for $1,263,158, resolution 2025-087.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or further comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, item D was pulled. Any public comment on Port Authority items? Port Authority items only. Any public comment on Port Authority? Any general discussion from the board? All right, hearing none, we'll close out that meeting. And we'll go into reconvene our Board of County Commission meeting, go into presentation. Ms. Lori Parker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 3 presentations today in recognition for Employee of the Month. We received nominations, and the first award is going to go to Justin Bridges. He's the Area Supervisor of Public Works.
few words about Justin. He's one of those guys that if he's had a bad day since I've known him, I've not seen it. He's always got a smile on his face, gets whatever task that we want him to get accomplished, and he does it in our time frame. He's one of those guys that when I bring something to him, he's like, all right, when you want it done, I can move some stuff around. He's helped a lot out, not just in Public Works, but with Animal Services and the fire station, getting things going for us. So he's a true definition of a team player, and we're very happy to have him on our team, and he's representing Putnam County very well. So congratulations,
Very good.
Justin.
Congratulations, Justin. Want to come up for a photo? No photo, okay. He doesn't want to.
You want me to do all three first and then do pictures individually?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay. You stay here. Sorry.
He likes the
The
spotlight.
next recognition is Haley Gill. She's from Parks and Recreation, if she could come up. She is Employee of the Month for August.
Good morning. Just a little bit about Haley. Many of you may not know, but Haley is our aquatics coordinator. So she organizes one of her many tasks is everything through the summer at the pool. This year we had 237 countywide kids complete their certificates for the Red Cross Lifeguard Swim program. Haley's responsible for coordinating those programs and for making sure the lifeguards are Red Cross certified and that all of the programs run very smoothly. In addition to that, we had over 1,000 community members participate in either lap swim or community swim throughout our summer months. And so Haley keeps all the programs moving and coordinates our swim teams and just the schedules between them to make sure that we're serving the community the best we can with our pool.
Very good. Thank you.
Next, the Employee of the Month for September is Ricky Lyle. If he could come up. Ricky. Ricky works for Planning and Development and IT. Congratulations.
I'll say a few words. I'm good at that. Good morning. Thank you all for being able even to do this, to recognize our employees. He does work in two different departments. He works in IT under 911 addressing, and he also works as zoning, and Mr. Baker, he'll have a few words as well. In my experience with Ricky, he's been nothing but first-class employee. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There's not one problem he's ever been faced with that he's not, not tackled it head on and got it taken care of. I mean, I've not pulled the report, but I would venture to say that you've done thousands upon thousands of addresses in his time here in his position. 911 addresses, that is. And I'm just tremendously proud for him to be a part of our team, and he has been a wonderful part of 911, no doubt, for sure. So thank you, Mr. Ricky.
Thank you, Board, and I'll be brief. As Mr. Ritchie said, Ricky does 911 addressing and planning and zoning, and Mr. Lyle is kind of the front person for planning and zoning when he gets all the phone calls and all the people, all the walk-ins. And to say, he's issued thousands of addresses, he's probably taken 2,000 phone calls, emails, and constituent assistance. So the accolades are well deserved for Mr. Lyle this morning, and I'd appreciate another quick round of applause for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If everybody wants to come up, we'll do it. We'll just do one big picture.
Thank you to all three. Come on up. We'll do pictures now. Individual?
Whatever they want.
Or group? Okay, get your group up here. Public Works? Wide lens.
Come on up here and get some elevation.
Yeah.
I feel better now.
Okay, good. I knew you would.
You're good for me, you go.
Okay, good. See, I'll make you feel real tall.
You're not gonna be able to be seen.
It's okay. I know I'm here.
We'll get her in a
Can we get
hole
some
here
guys
somewhere.
on this side? Kind of even it out?
Congratulations to our employees of the month. That covered month of July, August, and September. And we appreciate everybody's patience during that time. It's only 9:12. It just takes a few minutes to recognize some people in our in employment, and it means the world to them. So thank you. Moving into planning and development public hearing.
Good morning, Commission.
Good
For
morning.
the record, Zachary Baker. I do have a presentation prepared. Would you like me to go through it or kind of summarize it?
I think you can summarize it. We've already seen it, I believe.
Well done. So subject property is approximately 443 acres. It's at the intersection of State Road 100 and County Road 309. The applicants are requesting a zoning map amendment from agriculture to planned unit development. Let's see, it's adjacent to the K. Larkin Airport, St. John's River Water Management District Personnel Facility, the Putnam County Business Park, and some residential agricultural uses. There's still a long, arduous approval process should the zoning map amendment be adopted today. For starters, we still have to wait for the state to come back on the future land use map amendment. If that's adopted, then we move forward through Development Review Committee, which is 2 different rounds of submittals, a preliminary and a final site plan approval. And then after all of those checks and balances, the applicant will then be able to get different state permits, whether it's Water Management District or DEP for well, water and sewer, so on and so forth. Predominantly, it's a motorsports complex that will include educational facilities, driver training, some race-type applications. There's also lodging and retail sales, commercial, industrial, a well-rounded assembly of different uses of the property.
Nothing's showing up, Zach. You don't have anything up.
Okay, here we
Okay,
go.
there you go.
Would you all like me to bounce back or just start from the aerial here? So aerial of the property, the current future land use map designation, current zoning designation, some special flood hazard areas on the southern piece of land included with this application, and some sporadic jurisdiction wetlands which will need to be verified by a wetland delineation and possible mitigation if necessary for the development. And then this is the more later conceptual plan supplied by the applicant. There has been other more detailed conceptual plans floating around. Those have not really been submitted as a part of the record. They've been shared here at Public Hearings. Here we can see the existing utilities from the city of Palatka, though it is unknown at this time if they're going to tie in or choose to permit their own self-supporting utilities. And at this point, staff is still recommending approval of the request with the development agreement provided in attachment 2.6, which is page 217 of today's agenda. It's also included at as Exhibit C of the applicable ordinance. And then I do just want to take a moment to touch back on the effective date. So pursuant to section 163.318412 Florida statutes and section 4 of the associated ordinance, the effective date of this zoning map amendment, if adopted, will not occur until after Florida Commerce has accepted the ordinance amending the future land use map of the same lands. The future land use map amendment application is currently under the expedited state review process with a response expected October 25th, 2025. As soon as we hear back from that state review process, we will schedule a public hearing for the board to consider whether they want to adopt as presented, adopt with any conditions, or deny the application. If denial occurs, then this ordinance for the PUD zoning would not be effective. It would just remain ag lands. With that, I can take any questions.
Are there any questions at this time? A couple from me. I know some of the concerns that we've received from the citizens has been about noise, and I believe the applicants put in some buffering that they were not required. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. So the associated development agreement does have language in there for certain setback requirements as well as buffer requirements. And While the code does express more restrictive requirements based off of the conditions of the land, the surrounding uses, the applicants have proposed a shorter setback and buffering mechanism, which should still provide some level of noise reduction. But given the surrounding uses and the airport and things like that, staff found that what was proposed is still compatible to satisfy the intent of the land development code, which is to try to keep as much of that activity on the property as possible. And by activity, I mean noise.
Okay, all right. Are there any other questions for the presenter? All right, go ahead, Commissioner Alexander.
Madam Chair, just before we start, if we can do ex parte disclosures.
Has there been any ex parte communication, starting to my left, Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Okay,
And it will not affect my vote.
okay. What it is, you have to say what it is, whether you met with him, whether you've been on site.
No, I've researched it. I have met with them regarding the property, and that's what I wanted to touch on now was the noise abatement, and I was going to ask if the applicant could come up and discuss some of the noise abatement that they've proposed.
Yeah, let's get through this ex parte first.
Yep, that's it.
And am I, Mr. Commando? That's correct. All right, go ahead. Commissioner Newbold?
Nothing other than what I reported before. Met early with the applicant, got general overview, and have received, much more detail since then.
Okay,
Nothing other than that.
all right. I have also met with the applicant whenever they were beginning their project, and it will not affect my vote.
Madam Chair, I've also met with the applicant and other people, and it will not affect my vote.
I have met with them, but none since the first reading. Since then, I have not had any communication, but yes, I have in the past.
Okay, does that satisfy Mr. Commando? All right. All right, now, go ahead, Commissioner Alexander.
I was just going to ask the applicant if they could come up and discuss some of the noise abatements to,
Yeah,
ease the mind of the constituents that are surrounding.
Yes, sir, they're gonna have an opportunity to present.
Okay.
Are there any questions any other questions? All right, is someone on behalf of the applicant wishing to speak?
Good morning, Patrick Kennedy, 126 Fiegel Avenue, Pomona Park. Obviously, we agree with the staff recommendation and hope that you will adopt on a second reading. And Mr. Alexander, could you repeat for me what it is your inquiry is?
Yes, sir. I would just like to review some of the noise abatement that you guys will be enacting.
Well, the development agreement provides for several options to achieve a certain decibel level that was approved before it gets to the property boundary. A combination of berms, fences, and vegetation are the options that are available to the applicant to make sure they meet the sound decibels that are provided for in the development agreement.
Fantastic. That's the only concern that I've really had from any constituents is the increased noise. But with the proximity to the airport and Georgia Pacific, I kind of understand. I think you guys are doing your due diligence by addressing that. So, thank you.
Sir, thank you.
All right,
Any other questions?
not at this time.
We presented our case in chief at the first reading, and we kind of stand on that and staff's recommendation and ask for your approval.
All right, and we'll give you an opportunity, if we get some other responses, that you can come up and respond.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any public comment cards? Is there anybody who would like to speak on this subject matter regarding this zoning map amendment? For or against, you're welcome to come up and speak. It's public comment time. All right, seeing none, we'll come back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we take staff recommendation for the approval of the request to amend the zoning map from Ag AG to Plan Unit Development, the development agreement provided in the attachment.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment on agenda items. We're going to be moving into our agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It's not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. Is there anyone who wants to speak on agenda items? We have no cards. Is there anybody who wants to speak on agenda items? The packet's on the back wall if anybody needs it. All right. Moving into consent. Any commissioners wishing to pull, starting with Commissioner Pelletier,
I have nothing.
Commissioner Harvey,
I have none.
Commissioner Newbold,
None to pull.
Commissioner Alexander,
Yes, ma'am, I would like to pull item D.
D as in dog, all right? All right. I need a motion. Oh, I don't have anything to pull.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept consent agenda, move it forward, A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
Q.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Commissioner Alexander, you're on item D.
Yes, ma'am. Just a couple of things on here that I'd like to go over. I was looking down the grants and the approvals. Everything looks really good, and I think the TDC has done a great job. I'm not wanting to cut anything, surprisingly. I actually am wanting to ask for some leeway from the other commissioners based on some research that I've done. Specifically regarding the John Tyndall D2 Classic Baseball Tournament. The request was $12,500. Staff recommends $5,000. TDC recommends $6,250. So on that, to be totally transparent, I played baseball at St. John's, and I know that the impact that it had on me personally and on the community. And when we have something like this, a lot of this advertising and marketing, it's basically guesswork, and this one actually has a tangible impact. We can tell you how many people are coming and how much impact it's going to have. There's going to be approximately 7 teams here with 30 players per team, the coaching staff, the training staff, the parents, and the fans. They're going to be here for 4 days. They're going to eat in our restaurants. They're going to buy gas. They're going to come out and see our community. And with what's going on with the expansion of the student housing out there, what we're doing with the expansion of the Flow Arts facility, I think we have a tremendous opportunity to showcase just exactly what we are capable of in Putnam County. And we have a captive audience of approximately 750 to 1,000 people, if my numbers are correct, that are associated with this tournament directly, that will be here for 4 days. So they'll get to see our downtown, our river, everything that we've done. And I'm not saying we, that our community has done. Not me, but our community has done. And I think it's a great opportunity to showcase the facility and our town to places other than just our regionally. A lot of these teams are coming from Michigan, Illinois, not Daytona, St. Augustine. This is a nationwide competition, and they will be here in Putnam County, similar to what we see with the bass tournament. So I ran some numbers. They're spending about $4,000 on umpires alone, $800 for a case of baseballs. I forget how many thousands of dollars on just bases alone, because they wear out. So these are all costs that the college has incurred, and I was just hoping that you guys would get behind me and help support them a little bit more on this event, because this is something tangible. We know how many people are coming, and we know what the exposure is for a 4-day event. So, thoughts from you guys?
Is that your only option, your only change?
I like that one, and also there's another event, the Babe Ruth District 5 All-Star event. I like where we're at on that. Maybe adding a little bit there just based on what we saw with the event that the softball girls had earlier this year. Miss Young could probably attest to how many people came and showcased the facility and our community at that event. If you would like to chime in, Miss Young.
Again, Rich wants to speak
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry, Rich.
That's great. If I could just
Yes, sir.
be cognizant of the fact that when you approve these dollars, there are tourist development tax dollars that have restrictions with them. So the dollars have to be spent on essentially marketing or things that attract people from outside the county. When you talk about umpires, baseballs, operation and maintenance, there's Attorney General's opinions that say you can't use the money for that kind of expenditure.
Understood. Okay, so with that caveat, we will make sure that they, and if we do approve additional dollars, that they understand that spend. Thank you.
So I'm happy to, although I believe Ms. Morgan invited the groups, and I believe you have Babe Ruth here. So I would probably defer my comments to Babe Ruth.
Okay, that sounds great. Would you guys like to come forward? I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I apologize. That is your role.
Good morning, George Young, current president of Babe Ruth, 222 North 3rd Street here in Palatka, Florida. I also have with me Mr. Chuck Romer, who's our baseball commissioner. He knows more of the facts and figures than I do. Stays on top of those type things for us. Plus, just as an add-on to what you're discussing here, the reason why we asked for the numbers we did this year is because we now have the opportunity to host both the softball and baseball all-star tournament for this coming year. So that's why our numbers went up a little bit from our request from last year. The baseball tournament is some 40% more people than what you saw at the softball tournament. You're talking about 45 teams, the same multitude of counties. It runs over 4 to 5 days, the same. It's a little more complex, a little bigger, a lot more people coming in. I'm a little concerned actually about if we're gonna have enough hotel rooms and that kind of thing. But if you have any specific questions, we're happy to answer them for you. while
Sure.
we're
Do
here.
you plan on spending $20,000 entirely on advertising?
No,
Okay.
not just on advertising, no.
Other types of marketing?
Yes, we will, primarily our expenses for this type of tournament come from the cost of the people we have to bring in. The umpires that come in from out of state, we have those costs that are incurred. We have to take care of their housing. We have some advertising, but a lot of that's done through the Babe Ruth district. And then you have the expenses of the actual tournament itself, which the big things, you know, baseballs and softballs and those type things. Now in the past, those things that we've requested, they were apparently met all the approval requirements because we've only been reimbursed for those things that met requirements in the past.
And what did you receive last year?
8,000.
8,000,
So
yes, sir.
you're asking for a $2,000 increase.
He's got 2,000 on here. He's approved for 10,000. What is it you're asking for?
I was going to ask for an additional 2,000 on
So
that.
you want him to get 12?
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't asking to fulfill the full request, but I knew that they were incurring the additional cost of that. But as Mr. Commando stated, we have to spend those dollars on advertising and marketing, so it can't be dedicated to that as far as the equipment and purchases. Am I correct, Rich? Okay, so these TDC funds.
Oh, I understand.
Yes, sir. I knew you did. So I just wanted to
I'm going to defer to those folks for how the money can be spent. We turn in what we believe are our qualified expenses based on their requirements, and they approve it. So,
Yes, sir.
and again, if you're talking about an event that's for an organization like ours, that's all voluntary and a nonprofit, any assistance that we can get that's qualified, we appreciate. We're not asking for any more, but we do appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No, I just see the value, or I see the value, I'm sure some of my other commissioners would agree, in the emphasis on sports and promoting sports. Some of the folks that I played sports with throughout my career, I still communicate now, 40 years later even. Former Mayor Terrell Hill, or Judge Boatwright, there's a number of people on our staff that we all played sports together. And it builds camaraderie and it builds relationships that last a lifetime. So any opportunity I have to promote sports in our community, I think it gets kids off the couch. I think it promotes equality across the board, because when you're on that field, you have a respect for all of the players. And that's it, your abilities.
If you don't mind, I might just take that and put it on our website, because you summarized basically what we're trying to do out at Babe Ruth.
Thank
So I
you.
appreciate that
Yes,
very
sir.
much. But
at the grant guidelines and are working with staff to update those. A lot of times in the sports industry, there are what we call bid fees to attract tournaments that cover those types of expenses that the organization actually uses to pay for the tournament to actually happen. That's how they exist and how they do that. So that's where the sports grants usually come. There, it's really considered a bid fee. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, you're here, Kimberly. Ms. Morgan, can you explain to this board, I mean, I sit on the TDC board, so I understand how we got from point A to point B. Can you explain to them the process that we went through this year where we changed it from a subjective to an objective way of scoring and coming up with this process?
Yes, so we received the applications. There were more than 40 applications submitted this grant cycle. And what we did is we actually had criteria I developed based on the guidelines and the agenda, or in the outline of the grant application. I scored each one, and you have that staff recommendation. We then got budget information, and we adapted those grant or the staff recommendations to fit the budget. And then the TDC was presented the staff recommendations and debated over each award. We looked at budget, we looked at the application, we had many of the applicants were involved in the TDC meeting. Many of them are here today to find out about their final award. So they understand the process that the TDC debates and makes a recommendation to this board, but their final approval rests with you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Morgan? Mr. Pelletier, you're recognized.
I, like Commissioner Alexander, see the value in showcasing the college and the new improvements that have been made out there, and this is a grand opportunity to, like I say, display all our beauty that we've done in improving our atmosphere here. And young kids that might be, ready to come out of high school, they're going to head to college. This is a chance to really put a bow on top of what our hard work has done. So I do support some sort of increase in funds. I don't know what that number is. I don't know what you truly, what's your Christmas wish list, so to speak.
It's not her Christmas wish list.
And if I may, so us marketing, these teams are already coming. We're not attracting new visitors.
Oh, okay, I'm
These
sorry.
teams are already coming because they're part of the district or the division that invites them. The college does a great job hosting tournament. As the tourism department, we can do more to service them, service the college, and help them create a better experience. But that may not equal to more funding from a grant. That may just be manpower and tourism staffer support.
Okay, before we go forward, is there a motion on the floor?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make a motion that we increase the budget for the Tyndall tournament by $3,000 and the Babe Ruth tournament by $2,000.
I can say that.
All right, now we're into discussion. I'm sorry I let us get into discussion before we had a motion. I'll say a few things. I'm a little bit taken back by this because we have a whole committee. That committee is created of members of the community, members who are directly affected by tourism dollars. We have the council's made up of elected officials. I see Mayor Correa's in the audience. She's on that board. Mayor Myers is on that board. And when I started this a year ago, and Kimberly was new to the chamber, one of the first things we said was we need to take the subjectivity out of this and make it objective. We need to treat everybody equally. We need to treat everybody fairly. It needs to be a fair process. And so we created a criteria and a score process, and that was presented. It was discussed at the TDC. And so for it to come to this board, and then this board start nitpicking and saying, oh, we're going to add 2,000 to this one and 3,000 to this one, that is the good old boy system all day long, and I will never vote for that. I can't even believe that we're having this discussion. It's just beyond my comprehension that you wouldn't take what was recommended by your citizens in a subjective manner, and, in an objective manner, and go with what your citizens recommended. So that's my first point, and I'll continue debating in a second. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
Well, I appreciate your passion. As I got this list, I was heartened to see the variety within it, the volume on it. I wasn't aware that we had some breadth of coverage. I like that there's projects all over the county, and it feels like we're going in a good direction here. So while I do understand there's a good system there, I like the opportunity for us as commissioners to give a little bit of input. As I looked through this and reviewed it myself, there were a couple I thought could, be a little different here, there, or yonder, but I'm not in that position, and was a little uncomfortable going in that direction. But I like Commissioner Alexander's focus on these two items. They don't just bring individuals to the community, they bring families, and they're multi-day opportunities. So I'll just give my input that I would like to see priority given to events such as that. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Years ago, when I served on the TDC, and Kim, you and I have talked about this, you were relatively new here. People were just putting down a number and hoping to get half of it, and that's what they were doing. We all knew that, and it wasn't a very good way of doing business. Surely coming before the board and asking more might not be the great business, but we also see needs. Because my first one when I talked to you was some of the Christmas parade downtown Palatka, who getting $1,000 when they can't even afford to pay the bills. So I do think sometimes there's extraordinary circumstances that when we see this list, we might know in that community we got a problem here, and maybe we can put a little sprinkle on top. But I don't have too much of an issue, because at the end of the day, we're going to sprinkle it with whatever to invite people to our community and see something and be a part of something. So, but I think we got to be very careful as we tread down this. But the only time you get to take a look at it is after the TDC makes recommendation. So, but it's our say-so, and we can say whatever we want at that point. But I do see that there's a lot of, I'm hoping that the wants or the needs meet up one day, and not just put a number on the wall and hope to get half of it, because that's not the good way of doing business. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, it's not my intent to circumvent the TDC, and it is never my intent to be disrespectful to you or any of the other commissioners. The reason I brought this forward is I saw an opportunity, and I know we want it to be objective across the board, but we have an event that has a tangible impact that we can document to our community. And again, like Commissioner Harvey says, occasionally we have extraordinary circumstances. And with the new student housing facility, I'm not saying we do this every year, but I think that this is a great opportunity to showcase the accomplishments of our community and of our college. It was never my intention to, again, circumvent that, but I saw an opportunity to promote our community. And unfortunately, this, again, falls under the Sunshine Law. We can't discuss this amongst ourselves as commissioners. And I saw an opportunity, with a background in marketing and sales, to promote our community that doesn't come around but once in a lifetime. So again, I apologize, not my intent to offend you or circumvent the TDC, but with what I see, it's a great opportunity to showcase our community. No disrespect intended.
Thank you. And I'm not taking it that way. I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this, but it looks like we're picking and choosing. When we look down these lists and we see the toy store comes down, they bring those cigar boats, they come, they asked for $35,000, we gave them $5,000. You look at Bartram Frolic, they asked for $16,000, we gave them $8,000. We went through each one of these and decided that based on specific things. One of the things we talked about with Bartram Frolic was it caters mostly to students. Great program. It's a 4-day program. People do come down and they stay, and, you know, same thing with Palatka Porch Fest. That's a great program. It brings in a great event. It brings in people from all over. So my only point is, I'm not sure why we're picking and choosing. That's where I'm struggling with. If it's already gone through an objective process and it's been criteriaed and vetted out at that TDC, then I don't understand how we're sitting here picking and choosing which ones we like and which ones we're going to increase. I absolutely support the two that you're bringing up, Commissioner Alexander, I do. But I'm not good with picking and choosing, and I won't be. You've got the floor, and then we'll call the vote.
Yes, ma'am. No, I agree with you. If it wasn't something that's tangible, that we know the impact that it's having on our community and the opportunity that's being presented to us with the opportunity to showcase our community nationwide, and we have a tangible numbers, I'm not, and so I was going to use a specific example of one of the other events we're funding, but say we're funding Festival X. We can't physically document how many people are coming or how many people we are reaching with any number of these. I know how many people are coming. I know how many people are going to see this. I know how many people are going to get shared, plus any additional help that we can provide. These games are going to be live streamed nationwide. It's similar, in my opinion, to, on a smaller scale, some of the bass events. I'm not going to say any of the other events. Will any of the other events be streamed nationwide like that? No. Do we have something going on that's great in our community that has just been developed for student housing that will promote additional engagement with our college? Yes. I agree with what you're saying as far as singling certain ones out, but there are opportunities that fall outside of this normal criteria, and I think this is one of those.
So we streamline our Babe Ruth on a national television?
No, ma'am. I'm talking about the Daytona, the other one, the
Okay.
Tender one. Yes, ma'am.
You done?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Ballister, you have the floor.
I'm sorry, I disagree with you, Madam Chair, on this. I just, I don't see a good old boy in here at all. I see it from a business and marketing standpoint, in that the items, or the ones that Commissioner Alexander brought forward, seem to be the ones that are going to attract the volume of people more so than, they're not knocking any of the other organizations that are wanting money, but I'm looking at the numbers. And more people you bring, the more money you bring. And that's my only reason for support of this. Thank you.
Ms. Morgan, could you please talk about how we looked at the amount of numbers of people that'll be bringing to each attraction?
So,
we just didn't pull a number out of the sky.
right.
We didn't just, you know.
Each application is requesting, we ask how many expected attendance, or the attendance that they're expecting. We are getting research that will actually be able to tell us an estimate of how many people were in the market, where they spent their money, how much they spent, and we'll be able to give you all a clearer picture of the true economic impact and visitor spend. We're just not quite there yet. That's my pain point to you right now. The in the TDC meeting, we definitely talk about the value of a day visitor and the value of an overnight visitor. They bring different value. The other thing is purpose driven. A sports group is very valuable to us because it's easier to track. However, they're mandated to come here. They aren't choosing to come here. And so they're playing their games here. They aren't necessarily out spending money and shopping and different things because they're focused on their competitiveness of their event, which is the purpose of the event. I'm not minimizing that at all. The other events.
Commissioner, just to interject here, from an involvement from Parks and Rec. So with regards to the tournaments for Babe Ruth and for the college, more so for Babe Ruth though, they're not mandated to come here. We attempt to bring them here in an effort to support our local communities and our local youth to play. But for years, we have not had the opportunity to host those tournaments in Putnam County. The first time we had the opportunity was the softball tournament last year, which was a joint operation between Parks and Recs and Babe Ruth. They do have an opportunity this year to host both baseball and softball, but there are other communities vying for those same opportunities. So they're not mandated to come.
So thank you, Ms. Young, if I may respond. Thank you, Ms. Young, for I chose wrongly the wording. When a tournament host is selected, that is where everyone goes. That's where everyone is invited to attend. Mandate was probably the harsher word. What I'm proposing is that we actually, the tourism team become play more of a role in that bid process.
Mm-hmm. That's what we discussed.
And that way we can look at capacity, we can look at dates. And the last thing what's starting to actually happen is that we're having events on the same weekend and cannibalizing each other. Then there's no hotel space for all of the events, and then we're funding St. John's and Clay counties and their hotel room when it's our tax dollar paying for the groups to be here. So I want us to be more strategic and work together a lot more. This is a little bit different, a different philosophy in trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page and working together and rowing in the same direction. Tomorrow night we have a meeting. So the other things that we did not mention is we did have a grant application workshop in June to kind of explain the grant process. Then we had a grant marketing workshop to explain how you market these events. And then tomorrow night, we're having all of the December events come together so that they strategically and collaboratively use those marketing dollars that we're going to reimburse, so that there's a bigger footprint of Putnam County in the marketplace.
So ultimately, the goal is to grow these events and to have more involvement from the community, correct?
So the goal is to grow these events so that they are self-sustaining, so that the TDC dollars can be used to grow new events to fill gaps in the calendar.
100%. And can you think of a better time to invest in an event at our newly renovated college that is beautiful, with housing that our prominent business leaders help produce, and a new emphasis on our flow arts area out there. Additionally, with our investment in our new technical college out there.
Commissioner Alexander, our head buttons lit.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kim, you and I talked. There's a budget number, then there's an award number, and then there's what they actually can prove number, and then there's a settlement number. And over the years, this money's just been building up because you got a revenue income and then you got a budget income, and that number didn't. So we got a lot of money in the TDC, which is good for us to promote Putnam County. Let me ask you this: on the thought of just working this out the way I see it, is the TDC going to have another meeting so we can maybe say, hey, the commissioners really wanted 2,000 more on this and 3,000 more on that? Would that be a possibility? And then then you can come back to us and go, they didn't agree, and then we can make our own decision at that point, But maybe if the heartburn is that the TDC wasn't involved, send it back to TDC and ask them if we can bump those two numbers up at the next meeting you have.
The next meeting is December 2nd.
Okay.
So
these events don't happen till 2026. So, I mean, that's just a thought that I would have. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
So I'm going to say something. There's 49 different events, activities, festivals on these two lists. Every one of them are important to our community. Every one of them bring in something to this community. The heartburn that I'm having, because with Babe Ruth, I think they did excellent. I love their organization. But how is it that you're picking and choosing? That's where I'm struggling with. Because out of these, who in here, are you, the commissioners that vote for this, then you're gonna owe 47 other organizations an explanation as to why you picked theirs too above the rest of them. $2,000 more dollars. We had given Babe Ruth $8,000 last year. This year we proposed $10,000. So you wanna add $2,000 to them. We had, I don't remember what we gave. Do you know what we gave Tyndall last year?
So for the softball, so everything from a precedence perspective has been a last year's award for these two, the John Tyndall event, we did a 50%.
You just don't, I don't remember what the number is, do you?
It was the same. It was $5,000. And then, for the Babe Ruth, we gave 50% of their request, which was $8,000 for the softball tournament, which is different than the baseball tournament, and I understand that. But there is a precedent set that there is a 50%.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct. Like I said, we've given them $2,000 more than what, we gave them $10,000. They had asked for $8,000 last time. And on the Tyndall Classic, we actually increased that one by $1,250 above the $5,000 that they asked for. So anyway, my only point is every organization, every festival, every event that's on here is important to this community. We want them all. And so we're trying to find a fair process and that is not subjective, that is not because that's where you went to school or because of who somebody is. It's because of this is the criteria and it's met. With that, I'm calling for the vote. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Aye. Vote carries 4-1. Going into new business. Do we have any new business to discuss? Any new business?
No, ma'am.
Code enforcement. Good morning.
Madam Chair, is the applicants in the room for codes enforcement?
Is there anybody in the room for code enforcement?
Madam Chair, seeing no one in the room for codes enforcement, I'd like to go to the first case, case number 2021-00034, Ronald Whitford. Let's see, staff recommend the total fine to the curator was $35,593.50. Staff has calculated the actual hard cost of enforcement to be $2,069 as shown on the sheet. So my recommendation is we take staff recommendation, reduce the fines to the actual hard cost of $2,069 if paid within 365 days.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
I'm getting there.
I know.
Okay, Madam Chair, on codes enforcement case 2021-00231, Eye in the Sky Realty Group, staff recommends, hang on a second. Staff recommends the fine to be the actual hard cost of $1,990 and apply the sales tax surplus of $6,386.21 out of that to pay the fine reduction in full. That's my motion.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. One more?
Yes, ma'am.
On a roll.
Madam Chair, on codes case 24-006045, it's now in compliance. The hard costs are $1,267 to be paid within 90 days, and that's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. Are there any comment cards? Thank you. Connie Bem. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hey there, good morning. Connie Benham, 117 Musket Drive,
Yes, ma'am.
Satsuma. So I'm going to first start off with recyclables. You guys, I'd really like to see you bring that back. I've lived here about a year. When I first started living here, the woman wouldn't take my recyclables if they were not in that blue bin. So I borrowed a bin from my neighbor because I didn't have any. And then she was a little testy because I mixed them. So finally she gave me a second bin because I can't mix my plastics along with my paper. And she gave me this nasty cracked up holes in the bottom container. So then my neighbors that just moved in, they said, well, how'd you get your container? I said, I had to wait for the lady to drive down the road. And I'm going to say that if you have a deficiency in the collections, it's probably because people don't have blue bins. I don't know how long ago you started it, but I didn't have any, and I had to borrow them and or wave the lady down. So I'd like to see you pick that back up. This right here is an issue about Musket Drive. You know, when the scraper comes by, he only comes by and he softens up like maybe the first 4 inches of soil, of dirt. The first rain, all those potholes and ditches in the road, and I'm not talking about the ditches on the side, I'm talking about the ditches in the road, are back in a heartbeat. I'd really like to see you bring us some dirt, because all the driveways are probably a good 12 inches higher than the road. And actually, you could get whiplash pulling into the apron because it is so bad trying to drive in. And the road, you know, on 309, it's 55 miles an hour, and you're making that turn kind of fast. And so bring us some dirt, level out our road, and drive down it yourself if you're daring to find those potholes in those ditches, especially when it's wet and raining. Recently, I've been attending a church out there on Brown's Landing, and it's dark as can be. And we do a lot of things there at night. And I don't know when it last paved, let alone painted. And you can hardly see the edges of the road. So if you guys can find it within transportation to paint this road, you know, you would never even know that there was a river at the end of that road, because you can't, there's, outside of a boat ramp sign, you could go right into that river. So now the railroad tracks, they redid the railroad tracks, but the painting is in dire need, because if you don't know there's railroad tracks there, it's not like you can see the paint on the road that tells you that there's railroad tracks there. So if you could show us a little love. Also out there around the Musket Drive, the trees overgrow the road, so then they actually redo the drivers go around the tree branches. Come out there and cut out some limbs so we could have some room. All right? Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Commissioner Palatka, you're recognized.
Miss, if you'll get with our Public Works Director, Mr. Stout, he's in the back of the room after the meeting, and tell him your concerns about the road and exactly where you live, he'd be glad to get with you and see what, there's something they can't, do to help that out.
Yes, sir. Does that area belong to you?
Ma'am?
Does that belong to you?
The Browns Landing area belongs to this commissioner.
No, it's not. I think it's Commissioner Alexander.
Oh, it is. And you got Satsuma.
I'm Satsuma and he's Brown's Landing.
Yeah, but we've heard everything
It
you
doesn't matter.
said.
We represent you all, but Mr. Stout, that's him standing in the back of the room. After the meeting, he'd be happy to talk with you.
Brown's Landing is on the list to be painted, by the way. It's already on that list.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let's see which one. Dan Steele.
Yes, my name is Dan Steele, live at 202 May Lane there in Lockton, Florida. The reason I'm here is this past Saturday night, for one thing, is I was driving on Mariners Lake Road, and good thing I had my bright lights on. There was a guy walking right down the middle of the road, no black clothes on, no flashlights, one transients out there. Now, I don't know, I'll get with one or all of you to come out to that area. I'll drive you around or whatever we have to do. There's so many people moving out there into the woods. They're living in sheds. They're living in tents. They're crapping all over the ground. I reported one of them over a year ago. Nothing has been done yet.
You reported a codes violation?
Oh, I've reported, I'll go next door and I'll report a dozen of them, but they want you to put down your name. They want you to put down an address. Well, how the hell are you going to put somebody's address down and live in the middle of the woods?
No, sir, they want you, you're saying their address.
They're living all over out. It's becoming an epidemic. From my yard, if I hollered loud enough, I can hear 4 of them right in my area that could hear me. It's getting terrible out there, and Larry, this is your elected official. You're supposed to do something about it. And I will go with you anytime you want out there. You can go to Linwood. On the north side of the road, there's probably 10 places there, no electricity, no meters on the poles. There's no power, water, sewer, nothing there. And they're just living there. On the other side of the road, the south side, one guy probably got about 8 or 10 cars there. They're nothing but junk, no license plates on them. They're parked on the road right away, and nothing's being done about it. Now, I would love to work for the county. Give me some things, because I'll go out and hand out citations. 30 days to get the hell out of there, excuse my French, because something needs to be done. The other day I was there, I watched a guy bring in another building, put it next to another building. They unloaded their stuff. They're living in another building. No sewer, no water, no power. Right there on Citrus. Right there by Twin Lakes Boulevard. There's 2 buildings right there. The guy lives behind the high school. I don't even know why he lives back, and I'm not exactly what apartment, but I know he lives back there, and he had some other people in there. And I complained, I've got them out there, and now he's moved somebody else in there. But it's getting to be an epidemic. I've talked to Tony about it. He travels them roads all the time. He'll tell you the same thing. It's getting bad. We need to do something about it.
All right, thank you for coming forward. A couple of things that I'll say. First of all, for a codes case to happen, it has to be turned in. That's not a decision that this board, let me finish.
Ma'am, I heard
Let
there are
me
2,000 cases
Your
behind.
time is up. Let me finish. What I'm saying is it has to be turned in by a resident, and that's a Florida statute. That's not something that this board chose. It's Florida statute says for codes enforcement to happen. Our codes enforcement are not allowed to just go out and go, oh, those people are breaking the code, let me go after them. They're not allowed to do that. That's a Florida statute. That's one thing. So it has to be turned in by a person with their name and address. That's the second part. The third is regarding the homeless. Somebody has to turn them in, and then you have to allow the codes process to go through the system. And so that's just the way the process is.
The one I turned in over a year ago, they have not did nothing about it.
Have you followed up? Do you know that?
Pardon?
Do you know that?
Oh, yes. I'll go right next door. I'll get the date I probably turned it in.
And then the other part is that, so the other thing that the Florida legislature recently did was tell us that we cannot make any codes stronger than what they are already on the books. That happened at this last year. We were going to bring forward the policy and the ordinance regarding people sleeping in campers, and that whole thing, we were going to have a big joint meeting about it, but the Florida statute changed this year, and it said that counties, and if I'm saying this wrong, y'all can correct me, counties that have been affected by hurricanes have to wait 2 years before they can make any restrictions stronger in their community. We were going to go down that road as this board and try to look at how we can make those restrictions. But the Florida statute, Florida ordinance, from the Florida legislature has told us that we cannot do that.
So it's okay to go crap all over the ground and then do it that way, with no septic tank, no water, no sewer, no nothing.
You're
It's
welcome
okay to do that then.
Nobody said that. I'm
Okay.
telling you the restrictions that the Florida legislature has put on to us, which says we can't, what we allow already in our codes and in our policies is we can't make it any stricter, is what I'm telling you. Go ahead, Commissioner Harvey. you're
Thank you, Madam,
recognized.
Mr. Steele.
Okay, we're gonna have to
Mr.
check
Steele,
on this.
Mr. Steele.
I'll give you the statutes. It doesn't matter to me.
Channel 12 News, Anthony will really like
Here I am, buddy. Here I am.
Mr. Steele, you've done that to me before too. So here's my point. I'm going to make a, if you'll sit in the audience just for a few more minutes instead of walking out, you're fixing to find out something, okay? So please sit down. I'm fixing, under my comments, I got some good news. So sit down.
Well, we gotta do something about it.
Yes, sir. We are.
And it's not a matter that nobody wants to do anything about it. It's a matter of me just letting you know what the statutes are. I have one more. Mr. Travis Roberts.
Good morning, Travis Roberts, 110 Yancey Circle, Satsuma, Florida, 32189. This is my, I think, 50th time up here. How do you tell me what's going on with Fort Gates?
Can you tell me who owns the other side of the other side?
Yes, I can. And this is something I gave the county 7 years ago. Would you like, I got copies for you guys if you'd like them. This will show everything that it owned. I guess I can just hand it to you.
Sure.
Have you guys ever heard of prospective rights?
You talking about prescriptive or respective?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying prescriptive or perspective?
It lists it both ways in there. All I did was call Friday. I've been taking care of my brother because he's on hospice. He's going to die any day now. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
I saw the meeting thank you. I saw the meeting from last month on Friday. On Friday, I was able to get this information in less than 10 minutes. If you'll look, there's a copy right here of the plot on the other side by Miss Belinda Lynn. She's the one that originally owned the other side. She still actually does own the other side. But if you look on the very first paragraph there, on the description of the property, right here, you'll see it says, I'm not sure if it says prescriptive or prospective.
It says
but
description.
Right
You're talking
there.
about the description?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Fort Gates has had that property since 1939.
Who is Fort Gates?
Fort
Is that a
Gates.
legal entity?
Okay, the state of Florida has owned that since 1939. Okay, the FDOT, that's why it has a bridge number. Originally, that road was supposed to be, or originally it was to the right of the property. If you're on our side of the river, the road was originally to the right in 1939, all the way back to 1751. The state moved the road over, or somebody did. And what happened when they did that, they put the road and the ferry right there, Road 29, which you'll see on the one colored map. It's just up at the top left-hand side. Well, when they come in, the state, when Miss Belinda bought it, the state said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. So apparently they gave her a chunk of land, and they split the land up from lot 104, which it was all originally 104. They split it into lot 101 and 104, which Road 29 is right in the middle. Then they gave her the equivalent to that road attached to 104. I met with the Department of Forestry and verified that. But it's right there on the paperwork. And if you'll look at the definition of it, you'll see that anything that's been used for 10, 20 years, it's like, not intimate domain, but the best description that the state gave me yesterday on the phone was, if you have a piece of property back here, and I have a piece of property in the front, and there's canals on each side, I can't landlock you. So you've got the right to go across my property to get to that, and that's what they did with this property. The property is still Forest Road, State Road, or Forest Road 29, which is owned by the state. It's actually owned by Miss Belinda, but the state has rights to it, And since they gave her a portion of land on the other side, the road actually belongs to Putnam County.
The road is owned by the National Forest Service?
It actually belongs to both. It's kind of complicated. It's Putnam County's property. The water in there, just like on our side over here, in Putnam County side, it's still Putnam County over there, but the water going out in there, you guys don't own the property over there. You own the piece of property that's in the water, or you get a lease from the state on that piece of land that's in the water that the ferry sits on. Same on the other side. But State Road cuts, or Forestry Road 29 cuts through there. And another thing, the road is up for federal funding if they want to check into it, because when I was pulling the surveys yesterday with the state, federal land, not state land, federal land cuts right down and runs right across that road, opening it up for federal grants. Instead of the $140,000 a year that would be spent on maintenance, they could get a lot bigger chunk. And the Department of Forestry in Palatka says they will work with you guys on writing grants and getting grants for that road for the other side. He said nobody's ever come and talked to him, but they've switched a lot of different commands over there.
We usually can't get grants for roads that we don't own. So
We do. The forestry owns it.
Right, so the forestry would have to be part of that grant application.
Right. The forestry could do it, and that's what they're checking into. But the other parts where Putnam County has rights to it, or any place that they've got to go up through there, that's Putnam County. It's just an option.
Well, it sounds like you and is Commissioner Pellissier want to sit down together, because
I actually, can I take the floor for a minute?
absolutely.
I actually had spoke to Mr. Commando, and we looked up this lady in California, and I didn't know if we could spend public money on private land. And he told me, if I'm right, Mr. Commando, that if it serves a public purpose, that is allowable. Is that correct?
Well, we can't spend public money to make private improvements, but every dollar that you spend has to be justified by serving a public purpose. There's a lot of different layers to what's going on with the submerged land leases, with who actually owns the property. Actually, Commissioner Harvey, I was going to ask to talk to you after. We have to identify how much land do we really need for kind of what the proposal would be. So there's different people involved, from DEP, the state, us, and those things, and that's kind of what we're trying to work through.
A lot of entities involved that have to, all of them have a piece of the pie, so to speak. My thought was, and I'm no lawyer by no means, is that we contact this lady in Imperial Beach and be sure that she's still on board, or her heirs are on board, and would give us some right to do so on this property. And Mr. Commando, if she balled up her fist and said, no, that's over with and done, and you can't do anything, where do we stand then?
That's correct. So when you talk about prescriptive rights, or what Mr. Roberts talking about, there are such things as what are considered easements by necessity, but those, you have to file lawsuits in order to secure those from a judicial determination. It's not something that you can just claim.
It's already on there. If you look on the tax collector's thing, the copy that I just gave you, it's already on there. It's been on there. It says it right there under on the property description. Actually, on every one of them.
It says, under description, all of Lot 1, EX usually means accept.
Means what?
Accept,
It's less than accept.
less than accept.
But I've been asking for workshops since you guys all got in office. And I got some 8,000 pages. I know more about this, and I'm not here to say, oh, I'm all this. I've done my research as a writer and a reporter all my life. I've got some 8,000 pages on Fort Gates that nobody seems to have. And every few years, this is 8 years, we just hit the 8-year mark. And every couple of months, I come in for 8 years now. And one of you guys told me on the phone that they didn't like being threatened by me. If any of you had your businesses for 8 years and they were shut down, you would go nuts. You would go broke. I try to explain to my grandkids that, Fort Gates isn't up and running, or I can't buy them Christmas presents because of that. Luckily, I've got other revenues. I'm not here to get in a pissing match with anybody. It's just frustrating as hell for 8 years to come in and then to ask for workshops and get workshops, and then to be told it's gonna take another $4 million, and they lost the grants. I remember you were asking the question last time, you weren't sure why they lost the grants. The grants were because they applied for a $4.5 million grant. It was accepted, but Governor Rick Scott said it cannot be done, the landing has to stay wood. And nobody could justify spending $4 million on at that time it would have been $30,000 if they would have had it done, but it was dragged out because of COVID. You can't justify spending $4.5 million on a $60,000 landing. And I turned it in to you guys last time, I turned it in. Nobody has called me back except for JT Stout is the only one that's called me back. It's getting crazy. I just want to see the thing open. We're going to come up on 275 years that Fort Gates has been open. 275 years. Talking about bringing tourism in, I mean, and the kids at the schools that go there, that's all for another time. The office, I had a couple things I just want to say. The office, I've been asking for 6 years. The county built the road up 8 inches higher than the office. The office is still flooding to
Now you're on the other side of the property? Or what you're bringing forward is
This is
the
over at Gateway
Ocala
Fish
side,
Camp.
but now you're talking
They're
about.
on the east side of the river now.
Right,
Okay.
east side of the river. The office over there, we hit our 8-year mark, the workshop, and you were asking about that last time, but that was the reason the grant got sent back, because the state could not justify it, and Governor Rick Scott said it had to remain as close to historical as possible, had to stay wood. The county went ahead and paid, not you guys, you weren't in at the time, but the county went ahead and paid Taylor Engineering $250,000 in Jacksonville to engineer a concrete landing, even after they knew it had to stay wood. The other side, I mean, I'm just getting frustrated. I'm ready to throw the towel in and just say, forget it. Because after 8 years, why bother with history? Why teach our kids that this 275-year-old thing? And by the way, the forestry, you were talking about it need to be a needed thing for the community. The forestry said it kills them every time there's a brush fire over there. That Palatka, where they have a lot of their main equipment at, they can't get across the river to get to the forest. It's an hour and a half for them to take those tankers around. And they're needed all the time there, with the lightning storms. But I appreciate everything you guys do, but
Commissioner
if you can set
Palacio,
up a
you're
workshop-
recognized.
Mr. Roberts, I'm one of your biggest fans here and advocates in this, but you can't do it the wrong way. It's got to be done the right way legally. And that's the way I'm proposing that we proceed forward. I don't remember if it's the last meeting or a meeting before, but I asked staff about getting a letter to this lady in California and get her feelings on if she's willing to give us another lengthy lease on the thing to start there. Because like I said to Mr. Commando, if she balls up her fist and said, no, you ain't doing it on my place, I don't know what to do then. I think we're up against the wall.
Well, I've been through this before with the county, and it's just keeps going, the same thing. Every time we get a new commission in, the same thing, again, applying for another grant. Okay, you can't do it, it's gotta stay wood. It's gonna $4.5 million, no, $60,000. It's basic. You go over there now, and one thing that I would like to bring up to the county for public safety, and I've been saying this for 8 years now, that landing on the other side, a kid drove off that landing a few months ago. I've been saying for 8 years, you guys need to put some type of concrete barrier right there. The people come down that 29 at night, there's no lights out there. Right out into the river. Somebody's gonna get killed.
The Forestry Service would have to allow us to do that because that's their road, I believe.
We don't know that we have any ownership on the forestry side.
The landing is registered to Putnam County. The stamp is still on there for public bridge. It is listed as a bridge.
You know, where the landing and the road start and stop, that would be something that somebody else would have to answer. I can't do that, and I don't think we have anybody that can answer that. But you can't go do things on federal property just because it is encompassed in Putnam County. That has no bearing.
Yeah,
It's like saying your property is in Putnam County, agreed, but it's your property. We can't go in there and do what we want to do because we think it's the best thing. Does that make sense?
Right, but the landing belongs to Putnam County, and it's state property, but the landing does belong to Putnam County. When you look up the bridge registration, if you'll get a hold of FDOT up there, and talk to them, you'll find out that that landing does belong to Putnam County. It has their stamp, the state stamp on it, but that bridge, just like Barden Bridge, is registered to Putnam County. So is that landing, or that bridge on the other side. The side over on our side now is not registered as a bridge because we cut it back 1 foot, which made it fall out of the bridge category. The other side is still listed to Putnam County.
I still feel like our first move is to write the letter to this lady in Imperial Beach, California, and get her feelings on what we can or cannot do there. I think that's our first move.
She'll be glad to talk to you. I talked to her the other day.
Sir?
She'll be glad to talk to you.
Oh, great.
I've got her number if you want to get with
Good.
me later.
Sounds like, Mr. Roberts, you and Commissioner Palacier need to work
Yeah,
together.
we'll, after the meeting, we can talk with Mr. Commando and see if we can't come up with some direction there.
Okay.
Just don't run off.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody else who wants to speak on miscellaneous items? All right, moving into appointments. Commissioner Palacier, do you have any appointments?
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey?
I have none.
Commissioner Alexander? Commissioner Newbold?
None.
I have none. Clerk of Court was unable to be here today. County Attorney Rich Commando.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up on a couple of things that you had referenced, the law that kind of preempts us from making any sort of changes is Senate Bill 180. In addition to the term of art that's in that bill or in that newly passed law, was that we cannot pass any restrictions that are more burdensome on the property.
Thank you for explaining that
For
better. I
restriction.
wasn't doing a great job explaining it.
I have had to actually explain it a couple times everywhere I go, so, but in addition to it, it has a 2-year look-back period. So if we have done something that creates a more burdensome or restrictive regulation, then those are considered by Florida Commerce void ab initio, meaning they didn't even happen. And then this bill doesn't sunset until October 1st of 2027. So there's some discussion that there will be, I don't know if it's a glitch or cleanup or clarification bill coming through session this year, but I haven't seen any text of a document. The second thing, Madam Chair, was we were talking a little bit about code enforcement. You know, I would also add to what you described as the code enforcement process that we are a reactive code enforcement, we're not proactive. But in addition to that, our code enforcement officers have to be able to observe the violation from a public right-of-way. And that's sometimes what the restriction is. We cannot go onto people's private properties to observe a violation, and I think that's where some of the misunderstanding happens. As far as we do go out, we do investigate. If we can't observe a violation, then we're required to close the case. So that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Very good. Thank you for that clarity. County Administrator.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. We have Miss Robbie Cray, Mayor of City Palatka, in the audience this morning. Welcome. One of the things I've been tasked for is to look at scheduling a joint City-County Commission meeting. Looks like we're looking at probably January 13th at 3 p.m. So there were some options I was throwing at there, and I think that's what works best for both us as well as the city. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention this morning and let Ms. Correa, Mayor Correa, know that we're moving forward on that. And if you guys have any questions on that, please get with me, and I'll coordinate back and forth with Mayor Correa and her staff.
All right.
Okay. Secondly, I know we've been dealing with the purchase of the property out off of Gilbert Road with Rayonier. Just want to give an update this morning to the commissioners on where we're at with that. The survey is now complete. Just received notification of that from Mr. Stout and Mr. Scott in the back, so thank you guys for that. I know that was a monumental task, so thank you guys for that. Our environmental study is also completed, and we have required 2 appraisals, and 1 appraisal's done. We're waiting on the second one, so once we get everything completed, we'll move forward. Rayonier did contact me while I was in Milwaukee a week or so ago and asked if we could amend the agreement to push the closing date from December to January. And I didn't see an issue with that. Spoke to the chair, so we moved forward with that. So our closing date on that property now has been moved to, I think, January 7th. So we'll bring that back at the time. And I got a very interesting phone call. I say it's interesting because anytime you talk to Mr. Larry Corn, you never know what you're going to get. He is such an advocate for his farming community and the things that he is passionate about. And one of the things that he shared with me was his passion for what IFAS is doing and how Wendy is working with the farmers and supporting the farming community. And he wanted to share that. And I asked him you want to share that with me? And I asked him if it'd be okay if I shared that with the board today, and he said absolutely. And so that was one of his accolades, was the relationship that the county has with the farmers and the ability to help them in their organization and save money as well. And that's one of the things he was talking about, was some of the efficiencies that they've created. So just wanted to share that this morning and let Winnie and her staff know that they are being recognized and they are appreciated for what they're doing. And secondly, you wanted to comment and compliment the Public Works Department for the work that they're doing in their grading and their ditch cleaning, and said that, again, it's better than he has seen it in years. So again, to you folks in the back, thank you guys for what you're doing back there. So I just wanted to share those comments this morning, because you never get enough of those, and you know, I think it's important for all of us to recognize the work that this staff is doing and say thank you when we get the opportunity. Madam Chair, that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Moving into commissioner comments, since Larry, I'm gonna let you go first since you have a couple updates.
Okay, thank you. Just want to keep our eye on the ball on George's Lake. Julianne, have you seen anything come across yet? We're kind of hoping we'd get something, but
No, sir, the appraiser's been engaged. Sorry,
it's okay.
but the work has not been completed. The report is not ready yet.
Okay, good, thank you. I would like to do a West Putnam cleanup. I promised a gentleman here months ago that we would do it as soon as it got cooler, but I'm not I can't just do it on my own, so I want to bring that before the Board of County Commissioners to do a West Putnam cleanup on November 15th. Keep Putnam Beautiful, be involved, and we'll do it somewhere out in the West End, probably there by the town of Interlaken somewhere. So if that's okay with the board, allow me to do a cleanup?
Sure.
You need a wave of support, or?
I was gonna
a
say,
vote?
You're asking for,
leg,
are you
better-
asking for volunteers?
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll get people involved. Yes.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Harvey, the cleanup, get together afterwards and let's talk to Mr. Tilton and see what kind of service we can get from our waste haulers, provide some transportation, some dumpsters and things like that, see if we can make this a full-fledged community event.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We'll do that. But again, it's up to the board. So are we good with that, guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. And one other thing, since the last meeting we had Meridian here, if you remember, Mrs. Cohen spoke about homelessness, and it kind of caught your eye. I've had a Zoom meeting with her and her staff. They are doing work with homeless people in West Putnam on lots, and they are surveying them right now to see what we can do to help them. So she'd like to come in the meeting in November and just spend about 5-7 minutes talking about what they're currently doing for homeless and what they would like to be doing with the homeless. So I'll send that to you, Madam Chair, if you want to put it on the agenda. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Was that the good news you had for Mr. Steele?
That's it.
All right. Commissioner Palacier.
Oh, okay. I asked some time ago about getting an update on properties that we own within the county, buildings, raw land, whatever it is, a list, and let's see about getting some of that stuff sold, or possibly joining landowners if it was stuff that we were never going to use, returning it to them and getting that back on a taxable basis. Any comment there, Mr. Pope?
We have that list for you, Commissioner. We actually took 2 lists to give Nicole Baker credit for this because she manages those lists, and we've married those 2 lists, so I'll have a complete spreadsheet for you. I can get that to you. And you also asked about the indigent care, I believe it was, burials at one point, and I have that information for you as well.
I couldn't hear you the first part.
The burial process, the indigent
Yes,
burial.
yes,
You
the
asked me about that as well.
indigent, yes,
I'll also have that for you as well. So after this meeting, if you like, we can get together for a few minutes and I can share both of those with you.
I'm going to just lightly give them a little dash of what this is about. The indigents that pass away in the county from time to time, the funeral homes rotate who takes and handles that kind of thing, and they are only being paid $500 per incident to process that body if there's no other means. And knowing a bit about that business, I think that fee should be raised. What that number is, I can't tell you, but I just don't think that's enough for the amount that it costs that they have involved when you handle the body and then disposal thereof. It's just something for y'all to be thinking about, kind of put on your plate, so to speak.
Is that something staff's going to go out and research to see if it's equitable to what other counties are paying, or are we directing staff to do that?
We can do that, absolutely. Just see what some of our neighboring counties are paying for that type of service.
Can we discuss how we got to the $500? How did we has it been 500 for like 30 years, or is it like something we sent out for bid?
It was, it was previously $250 and we moved it to $500.
That's what I thought.
Traditionally, in the past, we made an adjustment unless we have a shortage of individuals of funeral homes willing to do the services. And we have not had a scenario where we can't get the bodies placed. Certainly, we can, happy to take any direction the board would like us to go, but has simply been, it's up to the funeral home to dispose of it in their methods.
Ms. Young, how long ago did we go from 250 to 500? About?
It's been probably, let me look up that direct information so that I don't give you something that's
Okay.
not correct, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to get it for you.
Have we had any come back from our design architect fella on the neighboring building here next to us and what's going on there?
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, I met with a contractor Friday. He had returned us a piece back. We have it, like to see it. Met with Alan on Friday, I think it was. He liked it, made some minor adjustments, sent it back to him on Friday, see the rendition back yesterday. So we've got it. We just got to figure out, give us a baseline of what it's going to cost so we know which route to take, whether to send it out for solicitation or we're able to do it without going out for bid.
Okay. Something that we could be doing, I don't know where we have the manpower and certainly the time of the day, but that building right now is housing a lot of junk that needs to be cleared out next door. There's tons of old computers and stuff that we've surplus that needs to go to the scrap man or whatever, but that's, anything we can do to start taking those steps to move the ball along, I think is something we need to look into. Let me look over my notes here. As a reminder, November 15th is tires at the landfill. Up to 20 passenger car or truck tires, not commercial tires, tractor tires, or semi-tires, so to speak, can be dumped, but regular automobile tires up to 15 per, what would you say, address, Mr. Tilton? Of registered address in the county you can bring. I'd encourage everyone to, that has a pickup truck, when you're riding around between now and then, throw one in the back of the truck, because I've got about 6 spotted in the county that are just laying there that when it's convenient, I'm going to throw them in the back of the truck and have them ready, because I plan on making a trip to see Mr. Tilton at the landfill and get those cleaned up. It's just an eyesore, and more than anything, it's just another place for mosquitoes to breed and raise little ones, and we don't need that in Putnam County. So with that, I think I am done. If I think of something else, I'll raise my hand, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I met with Mr. Suggs yesterday, and got some good news regarding the architect and the drawings for the VA services and potentially expanding their area. We have a ton of space within this building that is underutilized. Kind of going back to what Commissioner Pelletier said, I think it's a great opportunity if we could centralize a lot of the county's functions in this area. So you got a one-stop shop for our constituents. They're not driving here, they're not driving there. So, and we could move some of those again back onto tax rolls that are being occupied by other entities of the community or of the county, and get them over here. So if we need something, it's within walk distance, So thank you for your efforts on that. JR, I know you've been involved in that, and I look forward to that project.
All right, Commissioner Newbold.
Thank you. Well, Commissioner Tier, thank you for the reminder on Tire Day. That was a big push down on my end. I think it was, I'd like to get the word out. At previous meeting, I committed to a couple different projects, and I don't mean to put Ms. Young on the spot with this. I don't know that I'll need you to fill in, but animal control, code enforcement project, kind of cleaning that up and moving that forward. I don't have anything specific to report today other than the fact that I've been in communication with a lot of the partners at play, and the staff and the sheriff's office are working in a positive direction toward that end. I'll let that develop further before we throw any civics out, unless there's anything you want to comment on.
We can talk initially. We've set up monthly meetings, collaborative meetings between the sheriff's office and animal control. We had our first where we took animal control through training that the sheriff's office requires their deputies to go through. So they've all been through the initial how to write a report, the fundamentals of a report, that type of thing. So that was our first training, and we're working with the sheriff's office in collaboration to discuss what would look like if one or both of our agencies has the ability to issue a citation related to an animal control issue. The SO, their ag deputy is Mr. Westbury, and he's working with SO legal counsel and through the system, and to bring back to you all of those options to talk through what it would look like and get some board direction.
Well, thanks for that. I didn't mean to throw you
okay.
out there so quickly, but I appreciate those efforts. Getting a lot of good input from local communities. We'll have a need for some collaboration there, and I'm getting positive initial feedback from the parties involved so far. So I think we're moving forward in that regard. At a previous meeting, I also asked my fellow commissioners to speak with the school board about a possible project at the Miller Middle School campus in Crescent City. Since our last meeting, I met with Superintendent Surrency and Mr. Bowling, Assistant Superintendent Bowling, with some initial discussion. Based on that, I would like to attend the next school board meeting and kind of make this subject aware to their board kind of publicly, see if I can push it along a little further before I bring back a kind of any detail to you guys. I think if the project I have in mind, if that campus can't be acquired economically, I don't think there's any sense in us wasting our time, pushing it any farther forward. But I plan to attend the next school board meeting, get on that agenda, and kind of start that discussion publicly.
Commissioner Newbold, I would ask that, I believe the Blue Ribbon Committee has already done a report or some kind of a finding saying what the needs are to make that building into compliance.
Yes. They've done a lot of good work, spent quite a bit of money professionally to assess the property. All that is available and will be, play a key role in the possibility of this project coming together.
I would ask that you go ahead and share that with the board members here, or get somebody to share it with them,
Sure.
because to me, it's a very key component as to if or what we do with that building.
Sure.
Because there were some numbers in there that I was a little bit taken back by. And
Yep.
so I just want us to all be on the same page if we're going to look at doing something or not doing something.
Surely. I will do that.
Okay? Is that it? You have anything else?
I don't have anything else.
All right, Commissioner Palacier, you're going to number 2?
I told you I'd remember.
That didn't sound right.
It did, it really did. But I told you I'd remember something, or a couple things, actually. I'd like to see staff, because I've called a little bit of flack about it, that they're not receptive, but I'd like to see us coordinate a meeting with tax collector, property appraiser, about our plans and ideas out here, and give them some input and see, what their feelings are and how that will work to possibly pull us together here as a unit. On a sadder note, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my and Larry's colleague and my good friend, the passing of Commissioner Harris. She was a wonderful lady. District 1 and all of Putnam County lost a great leader, a very gentle giant, if you will, of a person. She's very soft-spoken, but she swung a big axe. I had the pleasure of serving with her, and Larry did as well, and she'll be truly missed.
She's always late.
Always late, yes. She'd be late. I'd get a text, I'm in East Palatka or something when she'd be coming.
Her granddaughter did very well and spoke about her being late and missing a train one time and how her grandmother turned it into something very special, even though they missed the train. And I thought her family did an excellent job. So thank you for mentioning her.
Yes.
All right. Regarding, let's go back to your property appraiser tax collector discussion. I think the first thing we need to see is what their square foot needs are, and if our building is even big enough for what their square foot needs are. I think that's the very first check
The
mark.
reason for the meeting, let's
Yeah.
all sit down, talk about numbers, square footage.
Square footage and space
everything.
is something.
Just put it all out there.
Yep. And while we're talking about the build out, I have said since I got elected that I want IT put in this building. IT needs to be moved. If we're gonna look at building a space, in my opinion, I said it first, so that means I get it first. IT should come first, followed by the veteran services. I know veterans is another area. JR and I walked, and Mr. Suggs walked and looked at the buildings. We've got the building next to vacant building that's right next to veteran services, and we have from the end up through where the sheriff's department had an office up through the place that cut hair. So we have some on the fringes. If we wanted to fill those in first, it would make sense, and then leave the big space in the middle. But at the end of the day, we all have to come together, whether it's a workshop or whatever. But those are my thoughts on that. But I want to see IT and
I thought that was
veteran
already in the
services.
works, so
It has
I
to
wasn't
be.
trying to jump over.
No, just so they're already being worked on. So, yeah, I know. So those are two things. I want to make sure everybody's aware of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's why we're wearing pink. We will have a mobile mammogram screening here at the County Commission Governmental Complex on October 31st from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's free or low cost. There's no prescription needed. Only takes about 10 minutes. It's for women 40 to 64. Department of Health will provide free mammograms for those who do not qualify with insurance. There's no copay deductible, and it's on the Board of County Commissioners Facebook page, so you're welcome to go look at that. If you haven't had your girls checked in a while, this is a good time. Animal control, I know we talked about that, and I appreciate your leadership on that. Commissioner Newbold, can somebody give us an update on the building?
Sure. So we got the furniture's in. I think it called for CO on the office building last week. Was waiting, I think the good Lord, the rain has quit for a couple days, so it's supposed to get paved this week. I'm sorry, it's going to get paved next week. They're waiting this week because they're finishing up some other projects around town, so it's supposed to get paved this next upcoming week. And the sprinkler company should be mobilized. They have their submission to the building department for their overhead sprinklers for the kennels. The outdoor pin poles are put in. I think we finally dried out enough. I did text yesterday for the vendor to put the AstroTurf in the play areas. So that should be getting done within the next week, and then we'll put the fences up. The remainder of the kennel fences should be put in this week, and then we should be able to reach out for a CO as soon as the sprinklers get hung and the backs are put on the kennel building. So other than that, everything else is completed. The generator, the gases ran for the generator. I got to get the generator installed, but other than that, the gases ran. All the underground utilities are done. The delivery of the next building is scheduled. Oh golly, I got the date somewhere. Not right on 2 weeks from 21st. It's supposed to be here. So other than that, we're 100% ready to go. I think we should have a CO for the office building. The furniture, like I said, I might have already said the furniture was put together last week. Got to go I need to get with Mr. Tilton or somebody and see if we can get some inmates out there to take some furniture boxes, because we got a ton of boxes we need to get moved in our dumpsters full. So, but other than that, we're just about wrapped up.
Commissioner Palacio, you're recognized.
Things get said and sparks those memory banks. The bank building, the old bank building over here in the parking lot, I'd like to see some evaluation done on that. And is that something that is salvageable, or is it ready for the wrecking ball?
Ready for the wrecking ball.
Okay, all right. So, okay, I didn't know what the status of that was. Is it full of stuff too?
You need a hazmat suit to walk into it. I mean, truly, it's disgusting. I mean, the roof was failed on it many years back, and nobody did anything with it. There's not enough valuable space there to put the effort in. It's a very small building, and you'd spend as much money repairing that one as what you would do to replace it.
Okay, all right, good enough. I just thought it was, one back of my mind, it was a freestanding building, be excellent for like veteran services if there was enough room there for them, just a thought, but anyhow. And to go a little bit on Commissioner Wilkerson, breast cancer is not limited to just women. I have a very good friend of mine, a little bit older, a man who developed breast cancer, and he's very proud to tell you about it, and he headed it off and is living a very fruitful life. So it's not just for the ladies. You guys, and I asked him because I wanted to know, how did you find it? He said, I was just taking a shower, and he said, I felt something in my chest that just felt odd. And he went to the doctor, and it was breast cancer, and had it removed, and that was 5-6 years ago. So it's not just limited to the ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple things that one of our constituents brought up, Ms. Connie. I do think that we should have something out there on Brown's Landing to help with it being, you're not wrong. I think there should be some reflectors, or we can have JT's team look at that and see if there's more that we can do in that area, down in that area. We can't put I don't know that we can put lights up, but there's certainly more reflective stuff. Yes, ma'am. And then on recyclables is a sore subject that nobody on this commission wanted to vote for that. Unfortunately, it would have cost constituents more money. We only had about 17% of people using the recyclables. It was not cost effective. Putnam County is not the only county that has had to do away with recyclable curbside. We still have recyclables. We just aren't picking them up at your home. There is opportunities in the community to recycle. We have also looked into a gasification. We approved that at the last meeting. We are going to look at a pilot program for gasification, and if that is successful, like we believe it will be, we can use recyclables, and we could use materials to run that through the gasification process. It's a syngas. You can look it up. University of Florida helped make the equipment. You can look it up, and what we're looking, I don't have all the details. I'm not a techie person, but basically recyclables would be able to, basically any waste could turn into a gasification process, which then turns into a gas that can be reused. So we can get together on that. I see you standing up. I'll be glad to speak with you one-on-one on that. I understand your point. I got it. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. All right, with that, is there anything else to come before the board? This meeting's adjourned.